Hello, my name is Patrick Horgan. I am now going to move on to the unit Word Processing Software. Okay, I will be going through this unit chronologically and I will fit in as many points as possible. Okay, first thing I'm going to cover is identify what types of information are needed in documents. That's a very vague question and it really depends on what you're putting in, what kind of document it is. I've got 3 examples here that I'm going to quickly go through. Okay, so I've got here an annual performance review for myself. Now, this is a very official document that is filled in by obviously all the employees. So it's got employee name, job title, department, and the date of the review. All kind of essential, they are really essential pieces of information for any official work document or review. Of course, you could replace the job title with many other things depending on what type of review it is. Okay, now this one's split into a few different parts. So part A is appraisee to complete before the interview and return to the appraiser by a set date. So this section is for you to fill in before the meeting, so the interviewer can really get an idea of what you want to go through. So it's got lots of questions and it's set out in a very official and organised manner. Then we'll go on to section B, which will be an agreed action plan. So after you've had the meeting, you can kind of go through this. This is set out in a slightly different way. So you've got a table of the business objective. So that's the objective on the side of the business. Proposed action, what you think, or you both have agreed to try and do, and the agreed success measures. So what you will need to succeed and what's been agreed between you. And you've got 2 boxes at the bottom for comments. So that's one type of form. It has varying levels of detail throughout. The first questions are fairly detailed. The section's a bit more sparse, and the comments is completely free form. That could be as detailed or not as detailed as required. I will now move on to a completely different type of list. This is just a quick list that was made on Word Processor to remember what you need. So it is a list that's been jotted down using the computer. So these are the cards, and these are the cards that have been noted. So for whatever reason, they want to either remember these words in that order and go through them at some point. There's another one down here, blocks to go through. So these obviously correlate with some kind of pack or expansion. It's a very unofficial document. There is no real explanation to what all the things are, but nevertheless there's nothing wrong with this layout. It serves its purpose and it has all the information it needs for that select person. Now again, we're going to go on to a completely different type of document. This is a rulebook taken from a role-playing guide. This briefly goes over one type of magic on the thing. So it goes over about 20 pages, and it will have the name of the spell and whatever it needs underneath for the player. So this is a really, they're detailed to an extent, and obviously the more advanced ones have a lot more detail in them and description. Essentially, this is made to be as functional as possible and give a little bit of flavour to make it interesting. But at the end of the day, it's a rule book. It tells you what you can and cannot do. This is a semi-official document, and it doesn't require any other input from anyone. It doesn't need updating. It doesn't have any boxes. So this needs to include everything that they will need to know. It doesn't have a question section or anything like that. These will cover everything that you should need to know, so it's very comprehensive. So there are the kind of different types, there are some different types of file that you might come across, and the data that you'll need in them. Of course, then you've got letters, which are also used, written using a word processor and other processing pieces of software. However, I would have to say that I'll mostly be done using a completely different type of software, like Outlook, for instance, unless it was going to be a paper letter. But that would have to include the relevant information such as the sending address, the date, who it's from, the body of the message, the conclusion, and then at the end, who it's from again, and possibly contact details. So what we're going to do now is to write a little document.